Hi, everyone, and welcome once again to J. Doyle Field at East Brunswick High School. Gordy Deal alongside Phil Peterson as we get set for East Brunswick against J.P. Stevens in a girls' high school soccer matchup. East Brunswick with a mark of 10-1 on a 10-game winning streak. J.P. Stevens comes in at 5-6 on the bubble for the state tournament. Next Friday will be the deadline cutoff. And it's also senior night here at East Brunswick High School. And tonight we've got two teams, Phil, seemingly going in opposite directions, especially with East Brunswick's 9-0 win early in the season over J.P.
Well, they are going, I don't know about opposite directions so much as J.P. Stevens is crawling while East Brunswick is racing ahead. Right now, the Hawks have already surpassed their record of last year where they went 3-11. They're just hoping to survive tonight. And with 15 seniors on the team, this is a make-or-break season for them.
Gordon Nienberg now in his 10th season as head coach at J.P. Stevens. Luke Kosa in his 23rd, so some veteran coaches on the sideline. And when you talk about East Brunswick, you talk about the O'Reilly factor, in essence, and not the TV program.
Well, they can mark people. They can't mark her very well. Teams have put 2 and 3 players on her, and she just seems to find a way to either find the open person or shake herself free, as is witnessed in the Petty game last week, one of the toughest games they've had all year, where she scored with about 3 minutes to go. She split 2 defenders, and that was the ball game.
Speaking, of course, of East Brunswick's Heather O'Reilly, 44 goals last year, 21 through the first 11 games of this season. 10-1 East Brunswick against 5-6 J.P. Stevens. Stay tuned for the starting lineups. Well, as we said before, it is senior night here at J. Doyle Field, East Brunswick High School. And we're going to watch the introductions of our seniors, who will be escorted by their parents. I'll tell you what, tonight, what are you figuring about? Mid-40s in terms of temperature right now?
Mid-40s? I thought you were talking about score.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, but those beautiful green spandex leggings that the girls were so happy to put on will make an impact.
The classics. There's head coach Luke Kosa with his back to us. And the first player is midfielder, number 2, Allison Bluefield, and her parents, Janet and Jeffrey. Also with us tonight, wearing number 10, although you can't see it on her jersey because her jacket's on, is defender Anne-Marie Micklick and her parents, Peggy and Martin. Another defender, number 8, Jessica Naviello, and her parents, Eileen and Jean. Boy, you can see how bundled up they are. You know what kind of night it is tonight. You know they don't do this. They did this in September. It might make everybody a little bit happy. This is number 16, defender Bonnie Reese, will be in the starting lineup tonight. Her parents, Bernadette and Bob.
One of the co-captains of the team. And the other co-captain,
Stephanie Simi, defender, and her parents, Kathy and Greg. And up front, striker, Amy Stanislawski and her parents, Linda and Walter. And goalkeeper, Melissa Ruff and Bettina. Flowers for the parents as well. Big night here, senior night against J.P. Stevens. Let's take a look at those starting lineups. We'll start first with J.P. Stevens, which comes in with a mark of 5-6. J.P. will go with a 4-4-2, and goal will be Jamie Geller. She's just a sophomore. The defenders, number 3, Lauren Persico, number 5, Shannon Cadmus. Also number 14, Kelly Smith, and number 15, Angela Gorzica. The midfielders, number 21, Lindsay James, who's just a freshman. Also in the midfield, number 7, Sabrina Ramasar. And number 10, Christy George up front. J.P. Stevens will play number 13, Lindsay Goldstein, and also number 8, Amy Linder. And as you mentioned before, this team with 15 seniors, and there is not a single junior on the roster. I mean, what do you do for next season?
That's alarming. I mean, we talked to the coach before the game, and my first inclination was that they had quite a few juniors on a JV team, but he gave no indication that they had any juniors in the program at all, which is shocking for a Group 4 school.
Let's take a look at that East Brunswick starting lineup. Again, it's senior night, so we'll get almost all the seniors in the starting lineup. Goalkeeper tonight, Melissa Ruff, who will start, and she will split the duties with Alyssa Kesar. In front of her on defense will be number 8, Jessica Naviello. Number 10, Anne-Marie Micklick. Number 11, Ilana Unger. Number 13, Justine Barbado. In the midfield, number 2, Allison Bluefield. Number 16, Bonnie Reese. And number 32, Carrie Devine. And up front will be number 20, Alana Lador. And also number 9, Amy Stanislawski. Noticeable by her absence from the starting lineup will be Heather O'Reilly, but as we talked about before, she will be a factor when she enters the game. Right back for the opening kickoff. All right, so the Bears getting jazzed up, getting set for game number 12, riding the 10-game winning streak. Phil Peterson lost to start the season against Ridge in a tight game, a game of which East Brunswick dominated Ridge everywhere except on the scoreboard, and here they are 10 games later riding this huge winning streak.
Oh, I think Ridge is very grateful to not have chalked that up as a loss since the Bears thoroughly dominated the game, but did everything but put the ball in the net. Shots are outshot him by a wide margin, but crossbars and missed direction on the kicks. That happens. Better to get it done early in the season and work it out from there.
In the midst of this 10-game winning streak is a 9-0 defeat over the team we're going to see tonight, JP Stevens.
Well, this is going to be the toughest challenge for the Bears from this point on in the season, is trying to keep mentally focused as they start approaching the state tournament time and the conference. I mean, quite honestly, the teams they were expected to have tough time against in the conference, the Piscataways and the Sayreville, have really been nothing more than doormats.
Well, you know, the best that you can do if you're a coach like Luz Cosa, whose team is just steamrolling other clubs, is go out and find yourself some non-conference competition in the middle of the season. He's done that. I mean, he did it at the start of the season against Ridge, which is a Group 2 school out of Somerset County, and then, you know, went and got Westfield, which is annually on the schedule. But, you know, Brick Memorial dropped them from the schedule.
As did Randolph.
As did Randolph. So it's been tough going.
Well,
he's got Washington Township left, but, you know, in order to get in a quality game like that, he's got to travel, what, hour and a half, close to 2 hours to get all the way down to South Jersey.
And apparently that's the same day that the girls have some private testing in that morning. You know, one of the tough things, the schools that don't want to play are more trying to preserve their ranking and status in the state as opposed to trying to better their players by playing better competition. And, you know, like I said, it's going to be biggest challenge is going to be to keep themselves focused and sharp getting into the rest of the season here.
Well, it's certainly probably the chilliest night of the year. We were thinking before this is more like a Thanksgiving football type day, or whether you'd expect to see in the latter part of the state soccer tournament. But here we are, kind of in early October.
And you want to put another log on that fire we have back here?
I'll tell you, if we had some marshmallows, it'd make s'mores. So East Brunswick takes the field on senior night.
And we are thankful that the Bears are wearing their bright white jerseys with the dark green numbers, and JP Stevens is wearing their dark green jerseys with the bright white numbers. No problems here.
JP Stevens kind of taking the macho route tonight. They don't go with the spandex that the East Brunswick girls do. They're all out there in shorts.
Good for them.
Let's see which team starts off warmer. They're all jumping around out there. None of them are standing still because it is chilly tonight. But JP Stevens with the kick. They will move from left to right. In the road, dark green jerseys, dark green shorts and dark green socks. East Brunswick in the home white, green shorts, and then of course the green spandex linking the socks and the shorts and the white socks.
All right, now Stevens spread out well on the field. Take the opening kickoff, moving down a little bit. This is a make or break season with 15 seniors.
Yeah, boy, I tell you what, if you are Gordon Nienberg looking at your club, 15 seniors on it, you're 5-6. I mean, you're one game under 500 with the state tournament deadline a little more than a week away, and East Brunswick comes up on your schedule.
Well, I think
you can't be thrilled about that.
Nah,
but he's got some time.
That had to be one of their goals, was just to qualify. I mean, this team has been one and done in the conference tournament, seemingly past however many years. Rarely have they qualified for the state tournament, so to get to that benchmark would be a positive for the program. But again, a Group 4 school with no juniors on the team is just incredible.
Well, JP Stevens certainly has its work cut out. His first corner kick of the game. Dangerous ball in front. Set up again. Here's a shot. And it hits the side of the net.
Came off the foot of Jessica Naviello.
So Lauren Persico will handle the goal kick for J.P. Stevens. Get to this point of the season, too, it's got to be difficult for somebody like Lou Cosa. Here, your team flattened J.P. Stevens in the first meeting, 9-0 at J.P. Stevens, no less. You know, how do you measure your team's performance on a night like tonight? You know, yes, they'll probably win, but I mean, are you happy with a 2-0 win, or do you expect another 9-0 performance?
Well,
it's difficult to, you know, to gauge progress, I guess, at this point of the season.
You're actually in a no-win situation. Because if the score is high, people will accuse you of running up a score, and if you don't win by a big score, then you didn't work hard enough out there. You can't win in a game like this.
Difficult position. Another goal kick for Persico. Just underway, no score. J.P. Stevens and East Brunswick. Jessica Naviello with the shot at the header there. J.P. Stevens will get the throw. And knocked out again on the near side.
Football Crown Field is really going to come into play. See a lot of throw-ins tonight.
Little flick on by Carrie Devine. Stevens picks it up. Now East Brunswick clears the other way. Too much juice on that pass from Shannon Cadmus of J.P. Stevens out of bounds. EB the throw on the far sideline.
Kind of everything between the 25-yard lines at this point. No team able to string together more than 2 passes.
Sabrina Ramasar battling on the far side for J.P. Stevens. Here's a service in the box. Nobody's there, and Ruff will collect for East Brunswick. Punched out the midfield. Stevens trying to clear. Here's a misplay. And now stolen. Here's Ramasar with it for J.P. Ahead for Wisniewski.
Wisniewski's the go-to player for J.P. Stevens, according to Coach Nienberg. Coming off a serious ACL injury last year to her knee.
Naviello forward for East Brunswick, and again J.P. Stevens clears, and I think this is pretty much what we'll see. Stevens clearing it, trying to punch it straight up the middle of the field.
Well, you can see right now the Bears are pretty tentative in the midfield. They're not being proactive. They're more laying back to see what J.P. Stevens is going to do. It's like the old prevent defense that prevents you from scoring.
And J.P. Stevens with his first shot. That's got a chance. There's a goal. Sabrina Ramasar from way back.
This is a shock.
And the crowd is stunned.
About 5 minutes and just over 5 minutes into the first half.
Well, we just talked about that's basically what it's going to look like for J.P. Stevens. Ball comes to the middle of the field, and you're just going to punch it forward and hope get somebody to run onto it. Or in that case,
we had
catch the goalie out too far and just, you know, jam it from 35 yards away, and it worked out well.
Absolutely.
Maybe this could be a wake-up call. We'll see what happens. East Brunswick again the pressure. Ball knocked out, and Stevens with another goal kick.
I don't recall this being in the game plan. Again, that's what's happened so far. No sooner had we talked about the midfielders laying back and inviting the Stevens into their territory than a seemingly harmless floater floats just over the head. tentative in their movements.
Now Viello in pursuit. And Jamie Geller collects it for J.P. Stevens. 1-0 J.P. Stevens here in the opening minutes. Let's put this in perspective. J.P. Stevens winning this game would be, and East Brunswick's going to come right back with another one.
It's like Bonnie Reese.
So Bonnie Reese on senior night lobs one over the head of Jamie Geller, much in the same way that J.P. Stevens scored their goal a little more than a minute ago. And we are tied at 1. I was just about to say, J.P. Stevens winning this game would be similar to the Miracle on Ice in the 1980 Olympics, in which the United States beat Russia in the semifinal game of the Olympics in Lake Placid. It seems to be a little more zip to the Bears' play right now, as we're tied at 1. Stevens trying to play through the midfield. Stephanie Simi forcing J.P. Stevens to go backwards, and the Hawks clear out of bounds. Now Viello on the near sideline with the throw. Ball played ahead now for Alana Lador.
One of the smartest plays you'll find out there. Very unselfish with the ball. She doesn't score a lot of goals, but the ones she does are usually big ones. Scored the first goal in their victory over a very tough Westfield team on Friday.
There's Simi winning in the midfield. Ramasar, who has the J.P. Stevens goal, plays forward. Chasing it is Amy Linder for J.P. Stevens, and EB wins it back.
A little too hard in the touch that time.
Stevens gets the throw. Throw in by J.P. Stevens, number 14, Kelly Smith. Good defensive play on the near side that time by Justine Barbado. Came over to knock that ball out of bounds and take away a potential threat from Lindsay Goldstein of Stevens.
You're going to have a very difficult time beating any of the Bear defenders one-on-one. Your only hope is either a deflection or, as we saw at the onset, a long looping ball over the keeper.
This 21 for Stevens, who just served the ball, is Lindsay James, only a freshman, but good size for a freshman.
Looking at the roster, she's going to have to be a key player for the team next year.
Steffi Simi in pursuit on the far side. The tackle on Ramasar. Here's Alana Unger with service up the wing. And Stevens will punch it out once again. Here's Lador. Got a shoulder in the back. And Angela Gorzica clears for J.P. Stevens.
I think sometimes those are the toughest teams to play are the ones that don't have the greatest skills to play a physical, aggressive sort of game out there.
Well, keep in mind, too, it's not like J.P. Stevens is 0-11 and just playing out the string. I mean, here they are in the bubble for the state tournament. Here's another shot, and it hits the side of the net.
It's Alana Lador with that intercept. Yeah, they just came off a very tough game against Piscataway where they had a 1-0 lead until 15-20 minutes into the second half and let it slip away. Ended up losing on a sudden death goal with just a minute left in the second overtime.
Battling in the midfield, Carrie Devine. Trying to get a help on the far side from Amy Stanislawski. Where's number 9?
A little hard in that first touch.
J.P. Stevens in East Brunswick territory, carrying there Lindsey Goldstein, number 13. Here's the throw in by James. And Bonnie Reese will guide the ball out of bounds. EB throw, this is Lador. Good
Nice
possession.
switch of fields.
Very nice change of fields. Ramazar steps in and picks it off, but it's won back by Allison Bluefield.
See if we can get some movement here.
Devine playing it wide. Bluefield serves forward. Here's a flick head on. And Stevens plays forward, but to nobody.
Yeah, the problem I see right now on offense is you've got all the forwards and midfielders moving in straight lines up and down the field. It's very difficult for the person with the ball to try to find an opening. Got to work on bending those runs, as they say.
And we haven't seen really any control of the midfield. A couple of substitutions getting set to check in for East Brunswick. Number 6, Ashley Stapleton, comes into the game.
And number 19, Chantel Hagan.
So Hagan and Stapleton enter. Two fresh faces. There's a play forward. Nice ball. And it's saved in bounds and hits the back of the net. More subs for East Brunswick. Number 36 is Heather O'Reilly, who we talked about earlier, and also number 21 is Sylvia Medansky.
And number 36 could be a good player someday.
Why the number change? She had been wearing 7, hadn't she?
Since she was about 6 years old. Apparently, somebody made off with the jersey before the season started.
So watch how the dynamic of the game might change here with O'Reilly in the game.
Well, you won't see the straight up and the north-south movement. You'll see a lot of lateral movement out here now.
O'Reilly gets the ball in the right corner, looking for help. There's a left-footed service and a beauty. All the way across the 18, winds up being a change of fields. Served back across the box by Reese. And here's a shot. Service again. In the open net, what a nice volley.
It's like Chantel Hagan with the goal.
And East Brunswick leads it 2-1. Now we talked about the O'Reilly factor, and there it is. Heather O'Reilly with the serve. Reese served it back across. Yet another serve.
And Chantel Hagan it was.
You're right.
Well, thank you.
I kept watching and watching, trying to see the number, waiting for it to turn around and waiting to turn around. So at the 26-17 mark, East Brunswick takes its first lead on the goal by Chantel Hagan. And it's 2-1. Here's Devine.
That took all of about a minute and a half to once the substitutions.
Great lead pass down the wing. Intended for Allison Bluefield. Last touch by Stevens. Here comes another service. Boy, that's just the way they scored the last goal, over the head of over the head of Geller for J.P. Stevens. And a great volley by Hagan. Here's Reese. Gets pushed off the ball, but wins back. Good hustle. And she got whistled for the foul.
It's been a fast 4 years for Bonnie. 4 years as a starter.
Persico for J.P. Stevens with the free kick. Quickly won by East Brunswick. This is James, the freshman for J.P., number 21. Last touch by East Brunswick. Here's the throw. Here's Lador. Here's O'Reilly looking to turn on the Jets, and there she goes. Racing down the sideline, a left-footed cross.
Goalie's way out there.
Keeper's out of position, ball in front, cleared by Stevens. Another dangerous opportunity.
Lana Lador shaking her head on that one. The ball was right at her back. She couldn't turn around in time to find it.
Well, it appears that Stevens has decided not to pay an unusual amount of attention to Heather O'Reilly, unlike some teams which feel that they need to put 2 or 3 players on her.
Maybe they're looking for number 7.
Stevens not going that route tonight. We'll see if that changes.
Nice through ball.
Here's a ball forward for Hagen. Had a shot at it, knocked out of bounds by J.P. Stevens, and East Brunswick will have its second corner kick of the night. Leading 2-1 with about 23.5 minutes to play in the opening half.
Quick restart.
There's O'Reilly. Near post shot won't go. And a little service to the middle of box. Wow, wide open. Shot and a save by Geller. Her hands probably sting after that one.
Well, Simi fired a rocket, and Geller couldn't get out of the way quick enough.
That's actually Geller's first save of the game, although East Brunswick has 5 shots. Not all of them have been on goal, but we'll count them anyway. But Geller's first save.
You know the papers will count them.
Well, that's, you know, I try to be a little consistent.
Yeah.
Difference between shots and shots on goal. Another great service. Here comes Geller. She muffed this one. Here's a chance. Score. Actually, they're going to whistle a handball on the defender in the net. And she will probably get a. Do they give a card for that? Or they just allow the goal? I thought the rule was in some circles you actually allow the goal.
They should allow the goal.
Isn't that what she did put her hands up, didn't she? Yeah, he's going to allow the goal. Okay. Definitely the right call. And Carrie Devine, am I right? Carrie Devine with that goal?
Yep.
Has given East Brunswick now a 3-1 lead. And just like that, like we said, that J.P. Stevens goal was a wake-up call. And since that brief 1-0 lead by Stevens, East Brunswick has scored 3 straight in the last 11 minutes. Here's O'Reilly. Ahead for Bluefield on the right wing. Here's your basic soccer. Get it wide, cross it, take a shot. Divine shot blocked in front. And now some type of push-off against the Bears, and Stevens will have a free kick coming the other way.
Well, you see a lot more fluid movement out there now. I mean, Stevens' defense is just shell-shocked.
Here's O'Reilly with the intercept, and
good call.
Played it with the hand. I'm a little surprised. You know, the one referee out there has the long sleeve shirt on and the shorts, but the other referee, does that defy the referee attire? I'm not so sure.
No, it's not.
He's got the sweatpants on and the heavy black jacket.
Nope.
Don't referees have to abide by the same rules as the players and, you know, go with the shorts?
Well, there is a uniform code. He's the one making all the calls right now,
that's
too.
True. He's the boss. Played out by Stevens. It'll be an East Brunswick throw-in.
But the other guy looks good over there.
He does. He looks macho, at least.
Yeah.
Chantel Hagen. He'll have pneumonia tomorrow, but he looked good tonight. Hagen again with the throw. She's already got a goal tonight. There's service in the box. Devine had a shot at it. Bears back in control. Nice midfield play. Look for the setup. Reese steps in, tries to collect, loses, pokes it back. Stevens plays it forward and has it past the midfield spot for the first time in several minutes. A lot of pressure right now on the Stevens defense. This game is very close to getting away from them if it hasn't already. Ball Ball played wide again to the wing. We can make an instructional video on offense for soccer out of this last, say, 12, 15 minutes for East Brunswick. Get the ball wide, cross it, get a shot.
Oh, it's all movement. I mean, the movement creates a confusion on the defense.
Running with the ball, running without the ball.
And it's really like a chess game. The person with the ball has got to recognize the movement of the players. If you're not moving, you're going to be doing nothing out there. That pass, those balls that go straight to the keeper, you got to play them out wider. Give your teammates a chance to run onto them.
That works. That works in travel team soccer in some circles.
Usually if you're playing a bunch of cones.
Dynamics of the game certainly have changed.
It's almost becoming too specialized, too organized.
JP Stevens will make a couple of substitutions here. Number 21, Lindsey James gets a break, the freshman. As does number 5, Shannon Cadmus. One of the new players for Stevens is Danielle White, the sophomore, wears number 17, playing here on the near side. Here's East Brunswick on the attack. And a steal by O'Reilly, and her shot is wide. 18:35 to play, first half, 3-1 East Brunswick. They have scored 3 straight after JP Stevens grabbed the early 1-0 lead.
I can't recall the last time JP Stevens ever had a lead on the Bears, any year.
You're tough.
Well, just being honest. This game isn't being filmed over for Edison, is it, though?
Actually, I think during the recess periods tomorrow and during gym class, they're going to re-show the game.
Well, in that case, I'm Gordon Deal.
Here's Geller with the save, her second of the night. East Brunswick not able to do much with that shot. Geller's punt right back in the middle of the field, where Stevens is having the most difficult of times. Here's O'Reilly, beats one defender, beats a second. Going for 3 and is knocked down. Good tackle. And Stevens clears.
Almost looks like she stumbled on her own there and fell into the opponent.
Yeah. Bonnie Reese the throw. There's service by Hagan in the box. Stevens had this one pretty well covered. And they snuff out the chance by clearing over the far sideline. There's Devine getting a shove from behind. Boy, nice find in the middle. Here's a chance. Stevens will pour his defense there. And a shot over the top by Hagan.
Two new Bears checking into the game. Caitlin Park, number 14, and Jenna Barbado, number 30. Bonnie Reese and Steph Simi will come out for a breather.
Caitlin Park, just a sophomore. And ditto for Jenna Barbado. Battling in the midfield is Sylvia Madansky, number 21. Here comes Stevens with a chance now.
Yet another sophomore. The only senior out there in the field right now for the Bears is Melissa Ruff.
So from senior night to underclassmen night, we went from kids with driver's license to kids who don't even have permits yet. In the blink of an eye.
But they've already picked out their first car, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Heads up play by the defense to clear over the far side. East Brunswick will regroup here after a mild threat by JP Stevens. And nobody initially picked up Becca Wisniewski as she came racing through to catch the throw-in. But East Brunswick clears another JP throw-in. Wisniewski the throw. Service by Wisniewski is on the money. And East Brunswick clears.
If you're going to be a striker and play in the box like that, you have got to get a good first touch on that ball. You're just going to give yourself all kinds of headaches.
I tell you what, J.P. Stevens is doing a good job of keeping the ball on the ground and trying to play to feet. They may be outmatched man-to-man, but they have an idea about what they're doing.
Well, the problem is they have virtually zero off-the-ball movement. And if you don't do that, you're not going to beat any defense out there. I mean, they've got to have someone take charge out there and demand the pass while they're on the run, or it's going to be a long night.
Another substitution, Lisa Chin,
Just a
38.
freshman.
Yeah, just a freshman in the game now. And here comes EB the other way. Down the right flank. Here's service in the box. O'Reilly is there. Another shot and a save. Devine with a good look at the net. Couldn't pick a corner. Good communication that time by Stevens. There's a chance for a wide open Bernadette Gorzica.
I see you got number 17 for J.P. Stevens, Danielle White, in the middle of the field. She has got to be active out there and create something. I mean, you and I could cover her standing still.
And the Bears clear. Throwing on the far sideline. 13 minutes to play, first half. Still 3-1. East Brunswick in control of J.P. Stevens. And an illegal throw-in.
Well, you were right in your early assessment. They're not paying attention to Heather O'Reilly out there at all.
Yeah, the marker right now is number 19, Ashley Rake, who's just a freshman. That's a tough assignment for a freshman, even though O'Reilly herself is only a sophomore. But it's either a statement that I guess you feel that overall you don't need to commit that many people to guard somebody like O'Reilly, or you feel that the person you have marking her is good enough. We'll see how that plays out over the next still 52 minutes or so. Another service in the box, nobody there. In fact, it floated far enough for Geller to pick it off. Give her credit for a save there. Make that 10 shots now for East Brunswick. Although, how accurate my stats are. I'm going to say 12 shots since they have 3 goals. 4 saves for Geller.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Again, not all of them have been on goal. Here's Hagan with the throw-in. Jenna Barbado with the pick. Left sideline for O'Reilly. Service in the box. Chance for Barbado. Knocked it over the end line for a goal kick.
And we had Jill Dudra come into the game for Kerry Devine.
Now Devine gets a well-deserved breather.
Barbado's a natural lefty. She got a little too much hook on that ball. Classic example of not getting your knee over the ball.
Yep, Sylvia Bodansky just leaned back a little bit too far. I tell you what, you know, you watch O'Reilly, and I think if I was a teammate of hers, I'd be very content, I think, just to knock the ball 40 yards upfield and watch her chase after it. And you know how dangerous that can be because you can get away with that at certain levels of this game, especially against some of the weaker teams of the conference. And you can get lured into that, well, I'll just knock it forward and let Heather run after it type of game. And, you know, you can fall in love with that when it works and you win games 5-0. But when you get to start playing teams like Ridge or Westfield or, you know, teams like that, that doesn't work anymore. Everybody's got the speed at that level.
Well, God forbid, too, if there was an injury ever to take place and all of a sudden what you've been dependent on is not there anymore, everybody's wandering around aimlessly. And in a situation like that, it's almost like, I guess, from the old basketball days, being a teammate of Larry Bird, you have always got to be heads up if a pass should come your way. That was a classic example. Heather laid it right out there for Sylvia Badansky, but didn't look like Sylvia was ready to accept the ball, and because of that, she got a shot way over the net.
Did you mean you were a teammate of Larry Bird's?
No, but I watched a lot of his games. I did have tickets when I lived up there.
Close enough. Caitlin Park gets dumped on the near sideline. It'll be a free kick for EB. I can picture you and Bird going one-on-one.
Yeah.
There in a Boston Garden.
One of the rattiest looking places in the world, but it was fun.
What'd that building hold, about 20,000?
For basketball, about 15 at the most.
15,000, and 13,000 of those seats were obstructed view seats.
Very intimidating for an opposing team. Little misplay by Barbado.
Here's Stevens with a chance. Oh, no foul. East Brunswick got away with one there.
Well, Caitlin Park has never been one to shy away from contact. Sometimes she's a little overzealous. Ashley Stapleton a little too hard in that touch. Otherwise, she had O'Reilly.
Clock continues to run with about 8.5 to play. First half. 3-1 East Brunswick. JP Stevens got on the board at 34:49. A little more than 5 minutes into the game. Sabrina Ramasar just hit a floater from about 35 yards away to put JP Stevens up by the score of 1-0. And then over the next 12 minutes, East Brunswick poured in 3 goals, and that's where we stand. Here's Jenna Barbado. Lefty shot in the corner, just wide. Good touch by Barbado.
Same type of shot she took the first time. She's got to hit a little more into the middle of the ball. Either that or start a kick out a little more to the left so it curves in.
Ball played forward for O'Reilly. Here's a foot race to the corner. East Brunswick will get there. Lucosa shouting for a quick start. Here's O'Reilly. O'Reilly serves in. It's knocked down by Geller and grabbed.
That had to hurt.
Jenna Barbado the throw. O'Reilly plays back.
Helps that a lot of these kids have been playing with each other since they were about 7 years old.
No doubt. And knocking it over the touchline on the far side is Angela Gorzica. Setting up for the cross, and here's a beauty. Geller is there. Geller drops it. And Geller winds up making the save.
As Jenna Barbado was cursing under her breath.
Barbado made it easy for Geller that time. She knew it. I think she was so surprised that the ball came right to her feet. It's a handball, but they play on. Badansky challenges for EB.
Well, Geller's been there to make the initial saves, but she has sure let up a lot of rebounds, and Bears should recognize that and have somebody parked right in the doorstep. Or at least challenging. She hears footsteps every ball that comes in the box.
Here comes EB the other way, off to the races. Good carrying in the open space. There's a ball played forward.
Chin with a defender draped all over her. Every player from J.P. Stevens is within 25 yards of the goal.
Direct kick on the far side over the end line. Goal kick, J.P. Stevens. 5 minutes to go, first half. A couple more substitutions for J.P. Stevens. Lauren Persico is going to have one tired leg when this game is over. She's taken all the goal kicks so far for J.P. Stevens, and there have been a lot. Bears trying to control. Nice play by Becca Wisniewski for Stevens. East Brunswick wins it back.
Nice touch by Medansky.
Off the crossbar. Stevens can't clear quickly enough, and EB wins it back.
That ball should have been whistled dead because it hit off the football crossbar. You can see the way it's
you're
shaking.
right. The way it's shaking, you're right. Somebody missed that one. There's another service in the box. A lean-in header. The attempt by... Is that O'Reilly who stuck her neck out there?
No, let's see. Looks like Ashley
least...
Stapleton over there.
3:45 to play, opening half. Lisa Chin with the header.
Got to cut off that angle, Jenna.
Ball played wide for Jenna Barbado. The cross.
It's in.
And it's in off the deflection. The goalkeeper, Geller, was completely fooled, and Jenna Barbado was on the board. And East Brunswick now leads it 4-1.
And another assist for O'Reilly. She had a nice through pass. I didn't think she was going to have the angle. She let that ball run too wide on her.
Yeah, it deflected off one of the J.P. Stevens defenders, and I think you were right. I think Geller probably had the goal covered, but the deflection totally threw her off. And as a result, East Brunswick leads at 4-1. Here's O'Reilly with service wide, but it's picked off and then one back. Barbado again on the near sideline. Plays back for Park. Park with it. Touch for O'Reilly, who's got some breathing room. Oh, nice feed inside. And it's punched wide at the last minute by Geller. Nice play by the keeper.
Park looking for her first varsity goal. Did all the right moves. And then, yeah, I can't believe I'm in front of the net with the ball.
There's another corner kick. Long floater all the way to the other side of the field. Tracked down, good hustle. And Geller collects again with about 2.5 to go, first half. There's Ramasar, who has the only goal for J.P. Stevens. Caitlin Park will throw it in for EB, near sideline. Lindsey James knocks it out for J.P. Stevens. Here's Jenna Barbado in a one-on-one situation. Tries to play inside where all the traffic was, and that didn't work out too well. But she helps win it back. And then it gets dumped from behind by Lauren Persico.
Jenna's not the type of person you want to get mad out there, because she will hunt you like a dog.
Here's O'Reilly with the free kick. Service in the box, a floater, the soft header, and Geller collects. 8 saves now for Jamie Geller, the J.P. Stevens goalkeeper. Less than a minute to go, opening half. Park trying to serve down the left wing, and it's going to roll out of bounds, but O'Reilly tracked it down.
No, that would be Barbado.
I'm sorry, Barbado comes back to Park. Time running out here in the opening half. Pushed wide by Justine Barbado.
I got about 35 seconds left,
And
unofficially.
East Brunswick playing keep away in the middle of the park and doing a very good job of it. Now a long change of field by Sylvia Madansky, and we've come to the end of the first half. And the score, East Brunswick 4, J.P. Stevens 1. Here's my shot tally and work with my math here. I've got East Brunswick for 18 shots, not all on goal, obviously. The ones on goal would be the saves plus the goals, right? So that'd be 8, 4, I'll say 12 shots on goal.
Good percentage.
18 overall. J.P. Stevens with 1 shot on goal, and 1 goal.
That's a very good percentage.
Sabrina Ramasar opened the scoring for Stevens at 34-49 on a long floater from about 35 yards out that caught Melissa Ruff out a little bit too far. Bonnie Reese came back a little more than a minute later to make it 1-1. Chantel Hagen, about 2.5 minutes after that, made it 2-1. 4 minutes later, it was Carrie Devine who made it 3-1, and then Jenna Barbado in the closing moments of the first half made it 4-1, and that's where we stand right now. Remember, earlier in the year when these two matched up, it was 9-0, East Brunswick winning at J.P. Stevens, and here we are, midway point of their second matchup, and it is 4-1. Your thoughts on the opening half?
Well, J.P. Stevens got a shot goal, and all of a sudden the door was open for the Bears. Maybe that's what they needed, get a little focus back, and I think they came in here expecting to romp, and that's exactly what happened. Once they got that first goal against them, they just turned on the Jets. And J.P. Stevens had virtually no offense since then.
All right, 40 minutes in the books, 40 to go. Stay tuned for the second half.
Just underway for the start of the second half of this Greater Middlesex Conference Red Division game. Phil Peterson and Gordy Deal here on this seemingly early November night.
January is my vote, actually.
Okay. Here's your sugar, honey.
Very nice, thank you. I believe we're actually drinking coffee on a night like tonight.
And there's nothing in it but milk and sugar. It's a pretty quick halftime, wouldn't you say?
I would say. They're trying to speed the game along maybe because they know the fans and such are chilly.
Or there might be some other sporting event. J.P. Stevens starting off in the second half like they did the first half, bringing the ball down the Bears' end, but now O'Reilly down the break on the left side, all by herself. Off the crossbar. Well, the athletic department would like to thank our ball girls today who play for the Central Jersey Hotshots. Hopefully they're running around a lot, staying warm. J.P. Stevens with a goal kick. Persico. Amy Linda with the ball. Barbado will tuck it out of bounds and give Stevens a throw-in.
I think if you're J.P. Stevens in this game, knowing how badly you got beaten the first matchup between these two clubs, 9-0, trying to improve and show that, several games later you're a better club than you were after the first meeting. And I think if you're J.P. Stevens, you could point to one scoring the first goal of the game. And, by the end of the second game, you're going to be able to hold the score down the way, or in a better fashion than he did last time.
O'Reilly with a cutback, swings a left footer across. And Chantel Hagen was muscled off the ball. I'd like to wish good luck to the girls tennis team as they are in the final of the GMC tournament this Wednesday the 11th. They will play at South Brunswick this Friday. Currently sporting a 15-2 record. Headed out of bounds by Chantel Hagen. Coach Kosa is going with pretty much a lineup to finish the last 2/3 of the first half. Ball played across, nobody running onto it. Bonnie Reese with Christy George in pursuit.
I think this is pretty much the most you can expect from J.P. Stevens in a game like this, in which you're basically outmatched. Punch it up from the midfield. Hope your defenders can just clear the ball forward and race onto it and try to develop your offense that way. We've seen them, when they're organized, do a pretty good job of playing the ball around the 18-yard line, but Stevens has not been dangerous kind of in the penalty area.
Well, as you said earlier, I mean, alluding to the way the Bears are moving north and south up and down the field, you know, unless Stevens gets creative off the ball, I mean, their movement when they don't have the ball, they're never going to penetrate. We also have a keeper change for the Bears, as Alyssa Kesar is now patrolling the nets. Shannon Cadmus with the throw-in. Little bicycle flip by Christine Sheridan. O'Reilly bounces it off her arm again, but the referee lets it play on.
You wonder, too, how much the cold weather has an impact on the first few minutes of the second half before the blood gets going again, too. Girls work up a sweat in the first half and then sit down for, I don't know, about 7 minutes or so, and it all begins to freeze to you and dry up, and it gets cold on your shirt. Wonder how that affects how you come out to start the second half. We'll see.
That's probably why it was a much shorter halftime than normally they would take. Modansky trying to step up, get the ball a little too far ahead of her. Reese with a step up. On the Lador, back to Reese. Being held, and I use that term
conservatively,
mugged by Christy George.
Christy had 2 handfuls of jersey that time.
Well, maybe she likes green and white. Lindsay Goldstein dribbling out of bounds. And we're early into the second half, about 6 minutes in. Another hold. Christy George again, the referee's telling her to lighten up now.
Well, it's been an effective way for J.P. Stevens to defend so far in the second half. Slow down the momentum of the game.
Reese with a little chip, trying to just pop it over the defense.
I would guess if you see that one more time as a referee, you're going to have to guard that.
And Coach Nienberg is taking her out of the game right now. He came in was number, I will get the number in a minute.
You know what, I didn't think the night was actually going to get warmer as it wore on, but I noticed that the referee I pointed out in the first half that had the heavy jacket and the sweatpants on has gotten rid of both and is out there in the standard referee attire.
I think he didn't want to be showed up by the little guy.
Or get caught on TV not wearing the proper uniform.
Hey, we do have a pretty wide audience. O'Reilly being dogged. Somehow gets a pass to Stapleton. It's one-on-one. And nice takeaway. I think Stapleton stepped on the foot of Shannon Cadmus.
Enough for Cadmus to lose her shoe.
O'Reilly, a very unselfish player, lays a pass across. Reese with a cross to the box. Stapleton cutting in. Oh, just can't get around on it in time.
I'll go back to that defensive play. You know, give credit for the defender for winning the ball initially, but it's not the way you want to play defense and winning the ball and then wind up turning your back and trying to heel the ball away.
Well, the Bears' biggest strength is being able to, exploit the weak side of the field. You know, work that ball from side to side and catch somebody napping. But it only works if your teammates are alert on the other side. Steph Simi with a face full of ball that time. And Chantel Hagen will put it back into play. Devine with the flick on. Taken down, no call. Shot by Lador. And Geller on her line to scoop it in. Stevens playing a game of survival right now. As see they're backpedaling, allowing Alana Under to take the ball into space. O'Reilly cuts middle. And she just toe pokes it wide.
Heather had to go out of her way that time to set up her right foot, which I was surprised at. She had a wide open crack with the left, but wanted to make one more cut to set the ball up on her right foot, and that time in which it took to do that cost her a good look at the goal. Seen the way she served the ball a number of times during the game with her left foot, wondering why she didn't have the confidence to let one go with the left.
Probably wanted to poke it just a little bit closer. Semi again. Devine with a little nudge from behind. And Shannon Cadmus, one of the multitude of seniors on this team. Oh, excuse me, that's Lauren Persico, who was taking 20 or 30 some odd kicks between the goal kicks and the free kicks tonight. Sabrina Ramasar, the goal scorer for JP Stevens, tries to play it down the left sideline. Should be a free kick for the Bears as Linder had a two-hander all over the back of Alana Unger. Dansky with a line drive through the midfield. Nice step up by Simi. She's got O'Reilly breaking down the right side and finds her. See if O'Reilly can cut around the corner. Good challenge by Angela Gorsica.
Yeah, that's a classic example right there of beating the player to the spot. You know, if there was a foot race side by side between the two, O'Reilly would win it. But Gorsica instead went to where O'Reilly was going and ran straight for the goal and was able to head off O'Reilly. That's the textbook 101 defensive play. Defense 101.
Devine with an in-swinger, headed right over to Geller. Unger. Devine.
Good
Stapleton
job.
Overlap.
Good job with their back to the goal by Carrie Devine.
You don't know what the conversation was on the JP Stevens sideline at halftime. There's been a lot of clutching and grabbing and nudging from behind right now. We're just trying to push the envelope a little to see what they can get away with. Unger can be soft with a touch or as physical as you want her to be.
Step right through that double team that last play. Able to generate something out of what seemed to be nothing.
Oh, nice cutback. Just a little too far ahead of Devine. O'Reilly right now is on a 10-game goal scoring streak. Oh, there's another 50-50 drawing I won't win. Devine. Unger looked like she mishit that. She looked like she was trying to serve that to the middle, but got her cleat scuffed on the ground.
See J.P. Stevens not taking any chances in the back either. They clear the ball. Get it out of bounds. They're not afraid to knock it out of bounds and just try and regroup. They're not fancy in the back.
Oh, they're not doing anything to keep the forwards honest either. I mean, they're backpedaling right onto the goal line. There's no danger of being offsides. And they finally bring one of their forwards back to keep Justine Barbado honest. And that is the only person for J.P. Stevens who is not inside the box. Stapleton. It's right in. Geller tries to punch it out and grab it. She does so.
Tell you what, though, if you're Jamie Geller, you can't get away with slapping at the ball in an effort to clear it. You're going to have to put your fists on that ball and punch it so the ball springs off your knuckles. If you're going to do it that way, you might as well catch it if you're going to slap at it with your hands. That wasn't like that was a shot. That was a floated serve.
Badansky wide left to Hagen. Lador calling for it and gets it. Lador getting shielded off. Gets the ball over to Hagen. Chantel with a cross. Like she wanted to get it up in the air. O'Reilly with a chest trap, chin trap. Amy Linder all by herself up top as we have a call here. Called a handball against Lauren Persico, one that I couldn't see, but he's obviously a lot closer to the action than we are. Quick restart, short touch by Simi. Tries to go 1-on-3 unsuccessfully, gets a little flicker into the box.
East Brunswick pretty much setting up camp here in the second half inside the J.P. Stevens half of the field. Not quite midway through the second half.
Well,
but East Brunswick well in control.
And J.P. Stevens shows no signs of building any offensive attack out here either. Quick shot by O'Reilly. It appears that's what they want to consider their success, is the ability to stop Heather O'Reilly tonight.
Good run off the ball that time by Hagen. Helped
Quick
set
shot,
that
she
up.
scores. Carrie Devine on a pass from Chantel Hagen, and the Bears jump out to a 5-0 lead. 5-1 lead, excuse
Tell you
me.
what, and it was Hagen's run off the ball on the left wing that helped set that up. She was the one who read that Devine was going to have her back to the goal when she played it, and she made the run off on the left wing. Was able to take the ball from Devine, then serve it back in for the Devine score.
That's Devine's second tally of the night. And with a 5-1 lead, we'll see how long Coach Kosa goes before emptying the bench. As I said many times, if you're on the bench on a Lou Kosa team, you are ensured of getting into the match. O'Reilly up at the top of the box. A little impatient there. Looks like she's trying to force it right now. And Persico again with a goal kick. Brought out wide, out of bounds.
Change of fields was a good idea.
Barbado with a quick touch. Intercept by Medansky. Jenna Barbado on the left side now. Devine tries to swing it outside. you know, it's tough being a goalie for the East Brunswick Lady Bears. You want to win, but you'd also like a little bit of action once in a while. Alyssa Kesar is close to becoming a popsicle out there. Sabrina Ramasar, the goal scorer for J.P. Stevens, out of the game. And Hannah Ludwin taking her place. Reese looking for someone. Finds no one. Jenna nice to the middle. Open space for Medansky. Heather O'Reilly.
Nice job with her back to the field of play. Couldn't quite hook up with Hagen that time, though.
And we'll see what the call is here. Legal throw-in for J.P. Stevens. Jenna Barbado with a throw-in. O'Reilly, one-on-one, beats her girl down the left. Serves a high ball into the box to Simi, who tries to gather it in. A little too high for her. Medansky using that height to her advantage, gets that leg in there. Nice flick on. Little volley into the box, Devine all alone, heads over to Lador. A little too far ahead, and Geller has no problem.
Poor job of marking that time by J.P. Stevens. How do you leave somebody like Carrie Devine all alone?
Or even Lador once the flick on was made.
Especially in the center of the box.
Could have been a handball, but I don't think, unless something is flagrant at this point in a 5-1 game. You are not going to see a lot of whistles. Reese stepping up from her left back position. Jenna to her sister Justine. Getting roughed up from behind. Nice cutback. Nice feed to Steph Semi. Geller hanging on very tightly to her line. And we'll have a goal kick. Geller made no inclination that she was going to come anywhere off that line.
And her defender was under some tremendous pressure, too. Carrie Devine and Lador down there.
And Erin Kenny checks into the game, giving Steph Simi a well-deserved rest. 22 minutes into the second half. If you just joined us, the Lady Bears on top, 5-1. 2 goals by Carrie Devine, 1 each from Bonnie Reese, Chantel Hagen, and Jenna Barbado. After spotting J.P. Stevens an early 1-0 lead. Barbado and Kenny unsure which one was going to attack the ball. Devine with time and space, trying to exploit some openings. But instead, takes a whack on her own out there, surprisingly.
Yeah, that was about all the options she had, though, because there was no movement by anybody on East Brunswick up front. Yep. She's already 22 yards out and within her scoring range, obviously, and J.P. Stevens had really packed it in the goal that time, so about all she had left to do, unless she decided to use the dribble to try to take on 2 or 3 defenders, so I think she made the best choice available.
Well, that's where your teammates have to get a little bit creative and help you out.
No doubt.
Long throw in. Lisa Chin now in on the left side, on the right side. First touch over to Devine. Trying to find Allison Bluefield through the seam. And this could be the balance of the way the balance of the second half goes. Serve deep through the seam, cleared out the sideline, and a throw in. O'Reilly breaking through, trying to get a return pass. Devine couldn't hit her.
I think a good test for East Brunswick right now would be to see actually how many passes they can string together in a row. You know that J.P. Stevens is sitting back and is just going to play defense the rest of the game, try to prevent any more bloodletting.
So Riley 1-on-1, 1-on-2, and right at Geller.
So now she got a good left-footed rip-off that time, which is why I couldn't understand why she wouldn't let one fly in the box earlier.
Boy, she bent that one from the far post and hooked right into the goalie.
It's a sweet shot.
Sylvia Medansky with a less than graceful move that time. Draws a foul with a call from the official.
I think in some cases, you know, some of the big kids get penalized. I didn't think that was a foul on Medansky that time. It looked like the other player jumped into her when Medansky had already won the ball. But I think sometimes referees see that size disadvantage and immediately assume the bigger player knocked the other player down.
Well, she's close to 6 feet tall. You got Erin Kenny out there. Both of them basketball players as well. Steph Simmies, tall. And you're right. The opponent just holds their ground. Inevitably, they're going to get called for the foul. J.P. Stevens doing a lot of jersey pulling up front. There's O'Reilly. That's the only play Angela Gorsica could have done. Any attempt for her to try to turn that ball around, and she was in trouble.
Yeah, you know, we've watched Justine Barbado from her sweeper spot for East Brunswick handle the ball a couple of times and, you know, be risky and take on an opposing offensive player in the back, which is not something you like to see your defensive players do. And there's just, you know, on the other side of the field, there's no way that Gorska could get away with that for J.P. Stevens.
Carrie Devine comes out in favor of Jessica Naviello. Jenna Barbado slides to the center midfield position. Gets off a weak shot, weaker than she had wanted. Erin Kenny. Nobody down here on the left side. I'd like to wish good luck to the girls gymnastics team as they go to Piscataway on Wednesday and to South Plainfield on Friday. Gymnastic team currently sporting a 4-1 record. And also good luck to the boys cross country team who travel to Manhattan on Saturday for the Manhattan Invitational. Erin Kenny over to Bonnie Reese. O'Reilly. The handball, I might not have called that. Looked like the J.P. Stevens player gathered it in and was headed off with the ball. All that does is allow the Bears to bring back on defense and set up.
Well, it'll be a busy day in New York City on Saturday for the boys cross country team. One going into Manhattan for the Manhattan Invitational. You've also got, who will be home at that point? The Mets will be home.
Mets have a 4 o'clock game that
will
day.
Be game 3, right, of their series with St. Louis, and the Yankees will be on the road for a night game against Seattle.
Well, we have a little a free kick for the Lady Bears. We've got just under 12 minutes left. East Brunswick Bears 5, J.P. Stevens Hawks 1. Jenna Barbado had her foot stepped on a cold day. That keeper has no control of the ball, and Heather O'Reilly, just chested out. Barbado scores. We'll see who was the goal scorer on that.
I think it was Lisa Chin.
Yeah, it was Lisa Chen. Good call, Gord. She never had control of the ball out there. Geller let the ball get away. And Lisa Chin picks up her second varsity goal.
We talked about that before. You did, how Geller had been giving up the rebounds, and nobody seemed to have sensed that or been able to take advantage of it for East Brunswick. And that time, kind of gift wrap for Chin, but she did well to convert. And an excellent effort by Heather O'Reilly to put the pressure on Geller that forced her to give it up.
Well, Chin tries to find O'Reilly that time, but just knocked away by Persico.
Yeah, we had our little stoppage by the referee before. I'm not sure how much of it got on television, but it's not even worth glorifying what happened. Somebody running onto the field, some moron. So about 10.5 to go. And it's now 6-1.
O'Reilly will set the free kick up. Watch for going to far post.
Wow.
So start right to the middle.
I mean, look at the marking by Stevens here. I mean, that's, you're not going to win games by doing that poor job of marking. Well, here's some good combination play. I mean, you can see that they understand what they're supposed to do at times, but they kind of have these mental lapses on defense.
Well, they don't have the
that
players
cost them
running
dearly.
up to complete the play either. Barbado over to Unger. Down the middle, Jenna. That's Anne-Marie Miklik. Got O'Reilly cutting back to the left.
Oh, how often have we seen this tonight?
And nobody on the far side there. As we said earlier, you've always got to be alert out there when she's got the ball. Right when you expect a shot, it could be a pass or vice versa.
And she makes the cut so quickly. I mean, she does well to get open on the weak side. And then, in a flash, she's at a full speed dribble cutting across the 18.
The East Brunswick girls field hockey team will be traveling to Metuchen on Thursday and will play Union at home on Friday. Today they defeated South Plainfield 2-1 in a thrilling overtime game. Both the boys and the girls varsity soccer teams will be at Old Bridge on Thursday to play the Knights at 7 p.m. And we'll play Piscataway on Saturday. The boys at home at 3 o'clock and the girls at Piscataway at 2 p.m. Both very big grudge matches. And good luck to the girls volleyball team as they travel to Livingston on Friday. Girls right now ranked number 20 in the state.
Well, if you're interested in high school sports, there's certainly a lot to do over the next few days.
Absolutely.
If you want to follow East Brunswick, my goodness. We have about 6 more pages of that to read?
No, that's it. That's all they could type today. Amy Stanislawski comes in. O'Reilly will come off the field. Caitlin Park called for the foul. And I'd look for Persico to take a crack towards the net on this one and hope for a rebound.
Well,
She's got the strong leg.
you have to wonder if Alyssa Kesar is numb at this point, having had virtually nothing to do here in the second half because her team's played so well in front of her. Oh, you're right. There's a launch. Wow.
Off the football crossbar.
So if that was good, the Jets could have used her a little bit this past Sunday.
Oh, and it's as tall as and as quick as Kesar is. The shots she has the most trouble with are the ones that are shot right at her up high. I mean, you're almost conditioned to move as a goalie. And when you don't have to move, you're kind of frozen there. Tonight, literally. Jessica Naviello at left midfield. Over to Barbado. Tries to hit her Naviello with a return pass. And Jillian Nagy will replace Alana Unger. Jillian sliding into the center midfield spot with Jenna Barbado dropping back to the right back.
You know, from a coaching perspective, it's interesting to watch what you do with somebody like Heather O'Reilly. Now here's your sophomore star who scores bunches of goals. I mean, at 44, or is it 40 or 44 as a freshman last year, already has 21 this year, is looking for one tonight. You know, the team is winning 6-1. What are you supposed to do with her? Do you take her out of the game and essentially call off the dogs and deny your sophomore playing time midway through her second varsity season? I mean, it can be an awkward spot for somebody like Lucosa, who's got so many weapons.
I don't, you know, at this point, I think he made the right move taking her out. I mean,
but I mean, you could see his argument if he wanted to leave her in. I mean, he looks like a bad guy, probably, but by the same token, he can make the argument, well, you know, the kid's only 15 years old. You know, let her get some more varsity experience. Not that she doesn't get any year-round with the various club ball and stuff, but I mean, you could certainly make the argument that, my goodness, she's only a sophomore and has only played how many, 30-something games in high school.
Well, she'll get her playing time. You know, it is a catch-22 at this point. You're up 6-1. I mean, it's not that she hasn't had her chances at the net tonight, by all means. I mean, she's probably the most frustrated person around.
Yeah, and I'm not saying leave her in so she can try and score a goal and keep her, whatever streak is alive. I'm just saying from a basic playing standpoint, keeping in shape, keeping sharp, working on different things, working on different combinations with some of the newer players who are getting some time tonight, who don't normally play as much as they might usually. You know, it can put you in a difficult spot at times.
That's why we're up here and he's down there.
Exactly. That's why he's been doing it 23 years and has more than 400 wins to prove it.
Jillian Nagy spins around. Nudged off by Lindsey James, the pretty tall freshman. If she hasn't hit a growth spurt, she's going to have a heck of a next 3 years.
Only a freshman, so she hasn't had her first basketball season yet. Wonder if she's a basketball player. That's kind of a sexist assumption, I guess, right? That tall girls play basketball. I probably should just shut up on that issue. But she certainly is a good enough athlete, as you can see. So I'll base my assumption on that she looks like a very, very solid athlete.
I don't care what school you're playing at, to make a varsity team as a freshman is a good accomplishment in itself.
Yeah, especially in a Group 4 school like J.P. Stevens, which is competitive.
Micklick through the middle, long ball. Tripped up by Hannah Ludwin. It was Jillian Nagy, and Anne-Marie Micklick will not hesitate to fire into the wall. Steve, ooh, dangerous play. We're gonna have an indirect kick. We should have an indirect kick right inside the box there. As the Stevens player, number 16, Becca Wisniewski, got her foot way up there. This is the time where they should set it up and take it right away. Should be an indirect kick. That's what the referee signaled, but I don't know if the girls are aware of that. There they are. Caitlin Park off the crossbar. For a girl who's had limited playing time at left back tonight, she's had a couple of glorious chances in the net. One in the first half where she got fed right through the middle and couldn't believe she was wide open there. And in this one, she rang off the crossbar.
And only a sophomore, so know that this is experience that she will eventually cash in. Had to do better with the scoring opportunities you get.
Well, any chance she gets at the net is a bonus for her. That should be a serious wake-up call for any Bear opponent that might be here watching this evening game here. Don't just pay attention to the freshmen, the forwards and the midfielders.
Last minute or so of play.
Bears hanging on to their 6-1 lead. Five different goal scorers tonight. Carrie Devine having 2. 1 each from Bonnie Reese, Jenna Barbado, Chantel Hagan, and Lisa Chin, the freshman. I think Lisa Chin will be happy next year when she won't be referred to as Lisa Chin, the freshman. But as the girls had these T-shirts earlier in the season that on the back said, "We don't restock, we don't reload, we don't rebuild, we reload."
That's kind of been the mantra for a couple of decades now.
And it's frightening with all these sophomores and juniors on the team what they could be like next year as well. Kesar off the crossbar, and it goes over the top. You can see those high balls, she really fights. She punts that one right into the crossbar, and she's lucky it didn't go right into the net.
And they called off sides on the rebound, which I don't understand.
Yeah, it couldn't possibly.
All right, unless it was just a delayed call.
Well, if he was going to make the call, he should have been when the free kick was first taken.
Sure. No matter, there's the end of the game.
And that'll do it from J. Doyle Field in East Brunswick. The East Brunswick Lady Bears on senior night here, defeating their opponent, the J.P. Stevens Hawks, 6-1. To recap the scoring, 5 minutes into the first half, Stevens jumped on top shockingly on a long floater over Melissa Ruff's head, put the Hawks up 1-0. Just over a minute later, Bonnie Reese struck back on a similar shot to tie the match up. 6 minutes later, Chantel Hagan from Heather O'Reilly to give the Bears their lead. And from then on, it just steamrolled. Carrie Devine, Jenna Barbado, Devine again from Chantel Hagan. And finishing the scoring was Lisa Chin in the 69th minute. Gordy, any thoughts, observations?
Well, you know, this was a game that unfortunately took a goal by the opponent to wake East Brunswick up, and after they did, I mean, we watched a flurry of 3 goals in a space of about 11 minutes, and that essentially was the game right there. The defense was solid after it got its wake-up call. I mean, Alyssa Kesar had minimal action in the second half, and you know, again, it's a mismatch. East Brunswick is clearly the better team, and you can see that J.P. Stevens, you know, did some things well. Other things they did not do well. I think the defense was a bit suspect, especially, you know, doing the basics like man-to-man and covering players like Devine and O'Reilly. You know, but they're learning, and you learn against an opponent as good as East Brunswick, and I think J.P. Stevens was able to do that tonight, and I think by the same token, East Brunswick was able to get a lot of players in the game and build on its experience and obviously extend the winning streak to 11 games. It's a solid program.
Well, now they look forward to finishing out the regular season and jumping into the conference and state tournaments. Again, a final score from J. Doyle Field. East Brunswick 6, J.P. Stevens 1.
We want to thank tonight our cameramen, Tom Wolverton and Paul Kapioski, and our producer-engineer, Dave Ambrosi.
And we'll see you next week when we do the boys' homecoming.